It's the best state in the union in which to do business. Now, according to CEO Magazine, it's the Lone Star State, which has held that ranking for a year. Its state GDP is growing faster than the rest of the country. Its unemployment rate is lower, about 4.3%. Companies like the low taxes in the state. And this week, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is in New York to share his story, and he joins us now. Governor, thank you very much for being here.
Honored to be with you. Thank you.
Tell us why you're in New York. You're looking for business, aren't you?
We are looking for business. One quick interesting factoid, and that is Texas has been ranked by CEO Magazine as the best state for doing business for 11 years.
I beg your pardon.
11 years. And the amazing thing is we just got better, because after my first term as governor, we lowered taxes by $4 billion. Think about this. We have no personal income tax, no corporate income tax. We have had a business franchise tax that we just slashed by 25%. We cut property taxes. We invested in roads and schools, making Texas an even better destination for businesses.
So let me guess. That's the elevator pitch for business to come to Texas.
Right. And it's a no-brainer. If you look at the cost of doing business, it is lower in the state of Texas. If you look at the regulatory environment, we sped up the permitting process. We have litigation reforms in the state of Texas that makes it more accommodating for companies that don't like to be sued and put out of business.
Well, as someone that knows about the legal system, as the former Attorney General of the state of Texas, you'd be in a good position to do all this.
Exactly.
Tell me about what the state of Texas is doing right now in terms of immigration, because one of the things I learned was that some of the money in the budget, I think about $800 million, is being focused on dealing with the issues related to Mexico.
Right, on quote, immigration.
Okay.
That obviously is an issue that is governed solely by the federal government, as said by the United States Supreme Court. What the state of Texas can do, and we did appropriate $800 million to secure the border, to make sure that we keep the people of the state of Texas safe. Understanding, if you go back in time a year ago, you saw all the women and children coming across the border. They were coming across the border because they were brought there largely by members of drug cartels. We want to make sure that we have no infringement of the state of Texas by these drug cartels.
Let's talk about the oil industry in Texas. I mentioned the unemployment rate, I think 4.3%.
Right.
That I got right.
Right.
Are you reliant on the oil industry as you were, let's say, a decade ago?
Not at all. And that's why I think about the price of oil has been cut in half over the past year. And yet, our unemployment rate is still 4.3. Last month, Texas had the third highest job growth in the nation amongst the states. And the reason for that is because our economy is far more diverse than it's ever been. Think about this question.
We just got Toyota, right? Didn't Toyota say that they moved their headquarters from California to Texas?
Exactly right. And we're seeing that happen right and left. And think about this fact, and for your listeners and viewers, what state do you think leads the nation in technology exports? Most people would think California. It is the state of Texas. And so we have a broadly diversified economy that we're doing an even better job to attract more businesses outside of the oil and gas sector.
Okay, you talk about broadly diversified group of businesses. What about broadly diversified population and the legal ramifications from things such as same-sex marriage, things such as Obamacare, which I believe you worked hard to keep away from the state of Texas?
Right. Well, on the diversified population, you could hardly find a state more diversified than Texas.
Right.
If you look at our Hispanic population and African-American population and growing Asian population, you will see that Texas is a cross-section of the entire United States. But here's what we focus on. We focus on the education component with those population groups. I'm proud to tell you that Texas has a higher graduation rate among Hispanics and African Americans than any other state in the country.
But having said that, why not come out and support these things? Because it leads maybe some businesses, like, for example, whether it's the open gun carry law. Whataburger just came out and said, you know, we don't want that in the restaurant. Why would you not support these things if it's going to help create that kind of diversity and support the diversity for businesses?
On open carry, for example, Texas is not in the vanguard here. Texas is the 44th state in the United States of America to allow open carry. It hasn't been a problem in 43 other states. It will not be a problem in the state of Texas either.
Do you think that the comments by presidential candidate Donald Trump are a problem for the Republican Party?
You know,
because I know Rick Perry, former governor, Ted Cruz, who's running, they're both running for president. One has come out and said he salutes Trump for saying these things, and Perry says, no way.
Here's the reality, and that is they would not even be talking about this issue if the federal government was doing its job to create an effective immigration system and secure the border.
Yeah, but is what he's saying helping the conversation, or is he hurting it? So, I mean, would you support the things that Trump said?
Here's the deal. What he is saying is raising an issue that is important to be raised. It's a tenor that
you can raise it politely.
Well, I was going to say, it's a tenor different from what I would use. But I think that it's important to inject the issue into the campaign process so that we have a president that is going to step up and finally secure the border and take care of the
I understand that, but I mean, if he was more polite in doing it and he was more substantive, perhaps, do you disassociate yourself from the kind of comments that he makes about people?
Again,
can it help how can it help the Republicans?
The tenor he used is not the tenor that I would use, and every presidential candidate has their own choice to use whatever tenor they want. But again, I think it is essential for the Republican Party and the Democrat Party to address this issue. This is a can that's been kicked down the road for decades. We can no longer kick it down the road anymore.
All right. One thing that was kicked down the road for decades was the Confederate flag, which was just lowered at the Capitol in South Carolina. You, as Attorney General, I believe you argued for the 10 Commandments in front of the state capitol of Austin. I'm not at all connecting them, but what do you think about the reaction to the state flag?
Well, in addition to arguing for the 10 Commandments to be displayed in Austin, I also argued I didn't make the personal argument, but the state of Texas argued at the United States Supreme Court to eliminate Confederate license plates, and we won. And so we've been in the vanguard on this to ensure that we don't have the government imprimatur of embracing the images that would be hostile to some people.
Do you ever think maybe Texas be in the vanguard of doing the thing for the open carry stuff?
Well, Texas caught up with the other states with regard to open carry. Again, there were 44 other states in the nation that already allowed open carry without any problem whatsoever.
Okay. I want to thank you very much for your time.
Sure, Pim. Thank you.
Very instructive, very interesting. Much appreciated. Well
My pleasure.
All right. Texas Governor Greg Abbott. All right. Still ahead.